You know, there's something very common in human nature, uh, and that's our ability and proclivity to solve problems. And today's video, I'm going to ask the question, are we trying to solve the wrong problems?
What is that supposed to mean?
Well, I'll explain it. My name is Paul, and this is Path of Ascension. So while there's nothing inherently wrong with being problem solvers, and in fact that's probably part of our human nature, there are some things that we try to solve that we absolutely struggle with because in fact they're not solvable.
And that's a whole different ball game.
It is. And so what I'm talking about here are things such as small things such as what somebody says or what somebody else does. Um, Bigger issues such as politics, environment, violence, war, all these huge things that we as individuals seem powerless to have any effect over in the way that we try to solve them. Now, don't get me wrong, there are people that are working diligently on these kind of problems. There are people in the environment, scientists, and people trying to figure things out, trying within the current budget that we have available to us to come up with solutions. There are diplomats trying to resolve world conflicts. There's a lot of effort out there, and some people have made this their life work, and it is certainly to the benefit of the collective.
But why is the rum gone?
Now, before I get too ahead of myself here, I am not saying that these problems are not solvable. They are solvable. They just may not be solvable in the way that we react and deal with them. Because remember, when we are faced with big crises like these and world events, we feel pretty small. And our reaction is maybe one of anger, frustration.
Why are we all in this big spinning ball that we call Earth, huh?
Does that reaction and where that comes from, is that going to propel some kind of change or not? And I guess that's the question that we have to ask ourselves. How are we going to react to these events externally that we can't actually physically change? So if we are going to problem solve, what's the first step you usually do to problem solve? You look at the cause. If your bike breaks down, you can rant and rave about it and get angry and overreact to it, or you can stop and look and say, well, the chain's off, I have to fix the chain. So what's the cause of all these external problems such as war and violence and all the things that are going on in the world that we'd like to change?
Because he...
Okay, I apologize for that clip, but it was funny. Anyway, back to topic. What is the cause? In my opinion, the cause of all the strife and all the issues, big issues that go on in the world are due to one thing, and that is that we are human beings, and all human beings have been hurt. We've all suffered something. And the only difference between one human and the next is how they handle that suffering. Are we going to understand it, look at it, and learn from it, and grow, and find a productive response to it? Or is it going to just build deeper resentment and have us lashing out and inappropriately that pretty much just compounds those problems?
I'm not a weenie.
I don't really know what kind of girl I am.
But we have plenty of good examples of how to respond to these kinds of things. We have them from Buddha and Jesus and Muhammad, peace be upon him. We have them from modern day spiritual leaders such as Sadhguru or Nelson Mandela or Gandhi. These people knew how to respond to these things. Like they were so in tune with the collective that they knew that the appropriate response to any kind of trauma or human trauma is compassion, love, and understanding. So listen, you guys who are actually watching these videos are already awakened individuals, and I think you probably know this intuitively, but the reality is if you want to change big things in the world, you have to start with you, and you have to make those changes within yourself, the changes that say, hey, here's somebody who's angry, I know they're hurt, I'm going to try to be there for them, I'm going to try to understand them. Or here's somebody who comes to you who has some past trauma and they're suffering from anxiety or just self-consciousness. And you know, your job as an awakened being is to be there for them with compassion, love, understanding.
What you doing, Rainbow Randolph? It's okay.
It all boils down to this.
You forget your head and you listen to your heart.
That's all I've got for today. Thank you again for watching. As always, if you have any suggestions or comments that you'd like to leave, please leave them in the comment boxes below. Listen, get out there, have a great day, and hey, change the world. What are you doing? Get out there and do it.